Hello everybody, and welcome! We've got ourselves one shot today, and this is the first unlicensed game that I think I've looked at so far. I think, anyway. I've been at it a little while. This is Solitaire for the NES by Odyssey. And this is, as you've probably guessed, a game of solitaire. So we'll go with these card colors. One card draw, that'll work. Turn that fucking music off, and keep sound on. Alright, there we go. Now, there's not much about the game itself to say. I mean, it's solitaire, right? But, like, I find it curious that we never really saw a lot of traditional games put out on the NES in America, especially not with the licensed games, because there were plenty of those in Japan, you know, shit like Mahjong and the like. But you never really saw, like, poker or gin rummy or, you know, the sort of thing that would fill that niche. That was left very much untouched in the American market. Whereas, you know, like I said, Japan, they had a lot of those. As casino games, and we got some of those too. But like a regular game like this, where like an adult could pick it up, or hell, just a kid looking to relax, you know, after getting damn near to the point of throwing his controller on some other game, you know, there's something to throw on, you know what I'm saying? And I always wondered why, because it seems like a very easy type of format to put in, even if trying to find a... Fucking hell. Ain't shit for cards now. Yeah, there we go. 4. Fucking hell, finally. No 9s, but, you know, it's not like there was no idea that there would be a market. I mean, we saw game show games. There was Wheel of Fortune that we did the last one shot on. So it's not like using traditional games as NES game concepts was completely unheard of. Oh, that is a game-ass sound effect, boy. You know exactly what the hell you're in when you're hearing. Oh, what? You fuck kidding me? Okay, you can only do stacks in this one. You can't just move the last card. Okay. Okay. But yeah, there was a ton of those, like, game show games and shit like that. And a lot of simple puzzles. You know, Crazy Creatures, Tetris. A lot of games like that. But never a lot of traditional. I guess nobody thought there'd be a market for, like, a good card game. Can't say I agree, because, you know, as I mentioned before, it's relaxing, you know? You just, chill, throw the cards down. Yep, I figured as much. You can only do whole stacks. It's just kind of limiting, but I'm sure we can figure it out. Anyway, speaking of games, this game itself, as you could probably tell, is Solitaire. A classic game that's been around forever, and actually a game that Microsoft used in the early days to get people used to the concept of the mouse, right? A lot of people were unsure back in the Windows 3.1 and 95 days about this whole mouse-driven interface thing. Sounds fucking weird to us, I know. But it was a thing, you know? So to convince people that it was a good interface, Solitaire on the Windows platform, of course, you would use the mouse to move cards around, and that way you would get a familiarity with the mouse interface. Here, as you can tell, they have opted to use a controller interface, obviously because it's the NES, but it still works pretty well. You get to the cards, the cursor snaps to them pretty good. And you find more cards that way. Jack is black 5. Ah, there we go. Queen. 25's no. And this is where rubber meets the road in most games of the Solitaire. It becomes a game of desperately trying to find the cards you need to keep things going. No. No 9s. No black 6s. 5. No. And it looks like I've already fucked myself out of this one. Solitaire is one of those games where you can very easily get yourself into an unwinnable situation, right? Which is what I seem to have done. So we're gonna restart. Pick another card back. I'm not sure if I need to explain Solitaire itself, but the goal is to stack the cards on the upper right corner. And you see where the cursor is right now. You start with the aces, 2, and you go the way up. Down here, you go from king down. So the idea is that you'd fill up these bottom areas, and then as you get aces and 2s and stuff like that, you would be able to get them up to the top, and thus open up more of the board, including all those hidden cards. Now, getting them in isn't as easy as it might look on paper, because not only must the cards go down numerically, but they must also alternate their suit. So if you had they alternate their color, I'm sorry. Like, you see, this 8 is one of the 2 red suits. This is the diamond, so a 7 would have to be one of the black suits, spade or club. In this case, it's going to be spade. And that's how you get down the board to 2. And then, of course, you can start bringing them up from 2 when you got the aces up top. Obviously, when you find an ace, you need to get it up there as soon as possible. Okay, in this version, you can only move whole stacks, so the top card, 8, red here, I'd be able to move it if I had a red 9 elsewhere on the board. But since I don't, we gotta keep drawing cards. And look at that, we just revealed one. Okay, 7, there we go. Okay, don't need that. That will do quite nicely. Black queen. Shit. No black 5s on the board. Black 6, there we go. Okay, we have a 9. That there. And look at that, we found ourselves another ace. This being the diamond ace. Alright. And as you see, uncovering cards will lead to more cards, which can in turn be uncovered, which leads to even more cards. So the sooner you have everything, the better you'll be. Okay, I need a red jack, though. Oh, wait a minute. Uh-huh. Oh, wait, I can move this here as well. Yeah, but that's how you keep finding them. Ah, red jack, here we are. Oh yeah, that's what we like to see. Okay, red 7, we need a black 8, nothing on the board. That'll work. Two. That'll help. Black. 10. We don't have any red jacks, so that's not going to happen right now. Red jack. Black jack. Here we are. And there's another card. Alright, there we go. Okay. Jack. 4 of hearts. We can put that over here for now. No red, no black 10s are free. Fucking hell. No black 3s are free. Oh wait, I can put that there. There's a red. There's a red 5. Oh wait, put that there. And hey, look at that, ace of fucking hearts. Now things are opening up. Okay, we need, as you can see, we have now opened up a shit ton of spaces. Should we find some more kings? And as I mentioned earlier, the winds feed on themselves. The more you find, the more you can find. Eight, 9. Oh wait, I need to get more heart cards. 10. No red jacks on the board. Unfortunately, only kings can be placed in these spots here. So we need to find some kings. Ah, look at that. Put you there. No. There we go. Now we're getting somewhere. Oh yeah, red jack. No, that needs to be placed elsewhere. 7. 8. 9. 10. And now we're getting somewhere. 10's over there. 10. And now we're able to put a shit ton of the face cards in. The jack. No, this is spade. Oh, wait. Oh, this is the motherfucker. The hardest part with these graphics is figuring out which one's which, you know? There we go. And boom, we got everything. A win! And that's Solitaire. A game that I really think should have had more opportunity. That should have ushered in more traditional games, you know? Though granted, now that I think about it, it might have been a little harder to do some of the more multiplayer stuff. Your pokers and the like. You know, that might have been better suited to the GBA and the link cable. You know, it's fun. You know, that's what I like about doing these videos. You know, you have a question. Why didn't we see more of something? And as you do the videos, you kind of deduct things. At least that's the experience I'm having. So yeah, I could see poker or fucking Uno being a lot better suited to the Game Boy or the GBA. You know, with the link cable and the like. But for the NES, I think Solitaire was a pretty good first idea. You know. But yeah, we could have seen. But you know, even then, we could have seen stuff like, you know, Parcheesi, shit like that. I mean, we saw Monopoly. We saw plenty of fucking Monopoly. Holy shit! You could have had Yahtzee. Could have had fucking Sorry, Operation. You know, there was a lot of potential for good traditional games / board games that was left behind. Anyway, I think I've rambled on long enough. That's Solitaire. Alright, y'all. Tell me what you think in the comments. Is there any game, any traditional game you think might have been a good fit for the NES? Let me know. In the meantime, God bless you all.